Hi, I'm Melanie Williams with MelMel Stamps. Thanks for joining today. I'm going to demonstrate how to make 4 cards in this video, and they're from my September card club. If you're not a member of my card club, if you are a member of my card club, I've sent you a packet with supplies to make the cards. If you're not a member yet, all information about MelMel Stamps Monthly Card Club is in the description, along with a list of supplies that I used to make these cards. So let's get stamping. This month we used the Autumn Expressions stamp set and the Autumn Expressions dies for the cards. And this is a fun stamp set. It was a challenge for me because I usually do pretty or cutesy, but elegant is not really my deal. But I really had fun with this and came up with some really pretty cards for you. So let's get started. In your kit, you would receive kits to make 8 cards. So you have 2 kits of each card. So you would be making 2 cards. Today I'm just going to show you how to make the card and just make 1. Also in your kit, you got these Regal foiled adhesive-backed dots. You can see I've used a few of mine. And you also got a package of the woven golden leaves. There's 75 in the pack, and there's 2 different sizes, and they're really pretty. Kind of shimmer, and some of them you can really see the leaf veins in the leaves, but some of them you can't, so they're kind of different. Then also you got a 1/4 pack of Nature Sweetness Designer Series paper. This is specialty designer paper because it's got the gold accents in it. It's really gorgeous. And you got 12 6x6 sheets, so 2 of each of the 6 designs. So in your directions, you were to cut out your pieces of the designer series paper and have them ready for your cards. So let's get going with the first card. I'm going to show you the card first. It is Grateful for You. We just used a few of the stamps here. And in the card kit, you receive all the pieces. So I'm just going to get these out here. You have the ribbon and all these little pieces. The first thing I like to do is set my envelope aside and then make sure the card base is folded, and I crease it with my bone folder like this. Get a good fold. So I'm going to do that first. Next, we want to get the elements of the card stamped. This first piece is shaded spruce, and I'm going to stamp it with the leaf stamp. It's a pretty little leaf stamp. I'm going to random stamp it with the shaded spruce ink. Random means you're just going to go around and stamp like willy-nilly, whichever, just straight on that card. You don't have to be perfect, and you can overlap some if you want. You just want a little of that to show as the background of your card. So there we have that. Then, while I've got my ink out, I'm going to stamp a greeting, and it is Dear Friend right here. So I want to check this and make sure I have lined it up well on on the block, and it is. Just stamp that on this piece of white. So we've got those 2 pieces done. There's a couple more stamping we're going to do, and we're going to do that in early espresso ink. So right on this piece of the designer series paper that you've cut out, it has double-sided, and this side has some little gold flecks. Really pretty, and then some words. So you want to make sure you get the words right side up, okay? You don't want it to be upside down. And we're just going to stamp the greeting, which is Grateful for You, and stamp it in the early espresso ink right in the center of this piece, like that. I don't usually stamp on designer series paper, but sometimes when it's a light and really not very busy print, it's really pretty. And I think it worked really well for this card. While we've got our early espresso out, we're going to do one more stamp we're going to stamp this. It's like a wood piece, like the inside of a log, a tree trunk type thing. We're going to stamp that on the square of our crumb cake, just in that early espresso ink. So there we have that. And I always like to stamp my envelopes too. I have a choice with the envelope. I could either use the wood stamp or the stamp that we used for the leaves. I think I'll use the wood. So I'm going to take that one more time and just stamp in the bottom left corner of the envelope, right like that. I like to have a little envelope designed to match the card. Okay, so we've got all of these elements ready. We're going to trim this out. There is a die that fits this, but to have those in your kit, it is hard for you. It's hard to line up the stamp on the pre-cut die. It's just easier to trim it out after it's been stamped. So you're just going to go along and trim this out around the wood. When you're doing the trimming and fussy cutting around images, make sure that you leave a little bit of the paper on the outside. And you want to kind of move the paper instead of the scissors. It helps you have more control. So once you get that cut out, you're going to have this piece like that. So we can start to totally assemble our card. We've got all of our elements. This first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal and just put a little bit. You can use glue dots or whatever kind of adhesive you want to use. I'm just going to put it on the top of this gold foil strip. And then I'm going to lay the Designer Series paper on top. I'm just going to let like between an 1/16 to an 1/8 inch show on the bottom. So it just gives that little accent with the in gold. It's a little crooked, but we're okay. Anyway, so we've got that. That's going to go on the front of the card. I'm going to put that on with my Stampin' Seal. Just going to center it in the card. Center it on the card like that, card front. So you've got that piece. Then I'm going to take the Dear Friend, and I'm going to also trim this down. So I'm going to use my paper strip, my paper snips, and just cut around the greeting. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just so we're cutting that smaller. And we're going to hook it onto this log or wood piece, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to glue that to the front with my multi-purpose liquid glue. Just do some dots across the front of that. I like this glue. It's good to use when you have you're working with little pieces. And it's also just handy to have around for embellishments, things like that. And I'm just going to glue that on here. Just have that little tip hang off. Okay, so I'll set that aside to dry. And now I'm going to go back to my card front and tie this ribbon. This ribbon, let me see, it is pecan pie stitched ribbon. It's so pretty. It's just got the stitching of the darker color going through. I thought it went well with our theme. You've got it in your kits, so you're just going to tie a square knot. So you're going to go right over left, and then left over right. Or vice versa. You can go right, then left, left, then right, whichever one. Boom. Just so that it's a square. You do one and then the other. And then your knot will lay flat. I'm just going to trim these edges with my ribbon scissors. Just so they're kind of even. There we go. Then we have a card front right here, and we can add this to our card base. And I'm going to do that with my Stampin' Seal. I'm going to make sure this ribbon goes on the top, kind of covers up that top seam or where the paper ends and then the green starts. And then we're going to just put this on. And I kind of get enough adhesive around the ribbon that will hold it in place. And then put that on the card front, just leaving about 1/8 of an inch around. And we're almost done. We've got that. And this liquid glue doesn't take very long to dry. So this piece is dry and we can get it ready to go on. Now these pretty, pretty leaves, gold leaves. I just took one of the larger ones and I'm going to glue it to the back here, but I'm just going to use a mini glue dot for that. That's what I've used for all of my leaves. Just use the mini glue dot. The glue would probably leak through the mesh on the leaves. So I'm just going to grab a mini glue dot and glue this to the bottom like that, and it will hold it really good like that. Then we can put this on our card. It'll be all ready. I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals, and we're almost done with our first card. When I put these on, I want to kind of overlap that leaf so that it will hold it good to the paper. And we can stick this down. And then we have our first card. Grateful for you, dear friend. What do you think? I think it's gorgeous. And you can see all the gold that's in there that gets picked up, and the accents it with the gold foil and the leaf. And then we have the card that matches. So the last thing we do with this card, we don't want to forget, I almost forgot, but we want to put the little embellishments on. So I'm going to take your pick tool. This is what I like to use for this. You don't have to use this. You can pick these up with your scissors or whatever, but I'm going to use these green ones. You just kind of push it. They have self-adhesive on them, so they kind of like a little mini glued on there. And I'm just going to put these on the card front. You can put them where you want, but I'm just going to put 3 right on there to kind of pop that greeting a little more. And there we have it. We've got one card done. Okay, so now we can do our second card. So you pull up card number 2. I'm going to show you this card here before I put it together. And this card was more of a challenge. Now there's got a lot of steps, but I think it turned out beautifully. So I'm going to show you how to do this card. In your kit, you have all the pieces. So grab all those out and set them out. We're going to put that aside. First thing, fold this base piece and crease it with the bone folder. And then there's this piece of, it's 4 by 5 1/4, which will go great in the middle so that you can write in the center of your card. So we're going to put that in there. I try to do this whenever I use a dark colored base. And there we go. That will make a nice place for you to write your greeting. We got that done. We can kind of set this aside. Oops, I got mini glue dot. Unfortunate, because they are so sticky. So got rid of that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is take this piece of the blue. It is the Misty Moonlight. And I'm just going to take my bone folder and just distress the edges of the paper. Just going to kind of work with it. I'm going to go around it a couple times. It's going to push that up, go around the corners, and you can bend it. But when you get done with this, another thing you can use is your scissors too. They do a good job too. So there's 2 ways to do it. Don't open them up. It's very dangerous. The snips are very sharp, and I have cut myself doing that before. The bone folder is what's safe for me. When you get this done and ready, it's going to look like this. These edges are going to be all distressed and burnished, and it's just weathered. So it just kind of sets the tone for this card. Then we've got that. This piece is out of your designer series paper, and it came in a 6 by 6, and you're cutting it down, and it's kind of tricky because the image is not right on an edge. So you have to make sure you're cutting and leaving about 1/8 of an inch around each of the design so that it will be even on the piece once you cut it out. It's 3 by 4 1/2. So be careful with that one. It's so hard. It's so hard to put adhesive on this shiny piece in the back. But you got to decide which side you're going to use. I'm going to put some adhesive on this one. I'm just going to put that, glue it down in the center of this blue piece, like so. And then I want to add a little bit of color to this. I'm going to color the little flowers in with our Stampin' Blends. It's the light boho blue. I love our Stampin' Blends. They're the alcohol markers. They're so fun to color images. So I'm just going to use the bullet side. One side's painty, one side's the bullet side. This is such small images, I'm just going to use the bullet side because it's a little smaller. And I'm just going to color each of these flowers. Doesn't take very long. Bear with me. They've already got some shading in the actual paper, so that kind of gives it light and dark shading. But that's good. And then we'll do this one. Just add a little hint of color to that matches the background paper. Sure, I'm putting the lids back on your Stampin' Blends so they don't dry out. So we've almost got our card front finished. The next part, we're going to do a little stamping. We're going to stamp our greeting right here. It's a long strip. And our greeting is, "May the beauty of the season fill your heart with joy." And we're going to stamp that in the pecan pie. Now, where I got this pecan pie idea is this is pecan pie that's in the paper right here. So it's going to kind of coordinate with that. So I'm going to try to center that the best I can. Oh, good. Got it good. If you don't center it right, you can always turn it around. Two-sided paper. So I've got that stamped in the pecan pie ink. And I've got this strip of 3/4 by 4 1/4 of the Designer Series paper. See, this back's pretty. We're using this side because it kind of goes with our theme. I'm going to take my snips and cut this to make a banner. I'm just going to cut those two sides off. Makes a little banner. And then I can put that down, glue it down with my Stampin' Seal on this piece. Oops, I got a piece of hair on there. DNA. So we're going to center that like so. So we've got our greeting, got a lot of elements to this card. I didn't really stamp the envelope to this one. I just left it blank. But this tag is cut out of the Autumn Expressions dies. And I'm just going to cut it in half, the lengthwise. We call it the hot dog way. And I'm going to put these underneath. And I'm going to use my grid sheet to measure. So you want to put this a 1/2 inch up from the bottom. And then slide it under so that it barely shows this notch there. And then that little piece of accent gold foil shows underneath. I mean outside of the card. So let's put those on both sides. Remember, just line it up a 1/2 inch up at that area. Let's see. Can be a little tricky. I'm going to go down a little further. There we go. There. We're going to do the other side the same. Just measuring with my grid sheet. So you have a little hint of those. They're kind of like brackets on the card front. Now we can add this to our card base. And what I'm going to use to add that is Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm going to just put a few on the back. And you don't have to do this. You can put it flat if you'd like. But I just figured where there wasn't a lot of dimension in the actual card, that I would just do the whole card front popped up a little bit. You got those. I'll put this on like so. And see why you just wanted a little bit of this gold to show, because you didn't want it hang off the edge there. And then Try to push that in a little more. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to take this, our greeting, we're almost done. We're going to put it on here. And you can use the dimensionals or you can use your seal. I just used my seal. I put the adhesive in the middle because I don't want it to go all the way to the edge, because these edges hang over and go to the edge of the actual card. And they cover up this part of the bracket. So there we've got it. May the beauty of the season fill your heart with joy. Now, I forgot to do something very important. I've got these leaves. Remember our leaves? And I put them together with mini glue dots. I've got 2 done there, and I'm just going to put another one on top. So I've got the 3. I'm just going to put that on top. And then, now I have to lift this up because, you know, made a mistake. I'm just going to hide those, kind of tuck those under the edge there. There we go. That's good. Would hold better if I would have done this right, but there we go. Glue that down there. And there we have that card. And now, don't want to forget the embellishments. There's blue ones on here which match the Misty Moonlight. And so this time I'm going to use my scissors to kind of show you the different ways you can use these. And I'm going to just put these on here. Just kind of willy-nilly. Wherever. And they're yours. You have a whole package. You can use as many as you want. I'm just going to use the 3. Oh, maybe I'll put one down here too. There. Then I have to have another one because I have to have an odd amount because I'm funny that way. There we go. So once we add those, got your beautiful card, got the envelope, and we're halfway through. We've got 2 cards done. Yay! The 3rd card is Have a Perfectly Lovely Day. And all the pieces are again in your kit. Here we have these. Open it up. It's not a lot of pieces. This is the one that has the most pieces, but it's not a really difficult card. Here's our envelope. We're going to fold the card base and crease it like this. And we have the center piece to put in, the white, so that we'll have a place to put the greeting. I'm going to put that on with my Stampin' Seal. It'll hold it good. And then we have our card base. Now the piece that we have here has been embossed with the Leaves Fall embossing folder. And so we're using that on our card. And I'm just going to put this on. If you see on the card, the pieces cover up those 2 sides, and then you have leaves here. So I'm going to put it on so that this is at the bottom and covers, and that piece will cover it up. So I'm just going to put that on with my adhesive. You can use whatever adhesive you want. I'm going to make sure you get all the edges on this, because when the paper is embossed, sometimes it doesn't stick down well. Some people like to use mini glue dots to get into the intricate parts so that it will glue down and hold it well. Okay, so then we have that. And now we're just going to take the 2 pieces of the Designer Series paper, and it would be pretty either way, but I chose to put it on like this. It kind of gives it a fall theme. I'm going to put these so they're right up even with that top piece, and then it will just show that 1/8 of an inch around. So I'm going to get my adhesive. Where did I put it? There it is. And put both of those on like so. And this one. I know it's a shame to not use that side, but you have a whole nother piece and a half that you can use this other on a different project. Like that. There we go. So we've got our base done. Now we're going to do some stamping. In this, we are going to use the early espresso, well, not the early espresso, the pecan pie ink again. Remember we used that earlier? We're going to use it again. And this is pecan pie cardstock, so it matches good. I'm going to take this piece that's been cut out. It's white. It's been cut out with the Deckled circles dies. I love them. And this says, have a perfectly lovely day. So I'm just going to stamp that in the center of this die. There we go. It's perfect. And let it dry, and then we can put it on the, this is Cherry Cobbler, another Deckled circle die. It's Cherry Cobbler. So I have that on. So we have that piece for our card. And now the next thing we're going to stamp is this little leaf. We used it in green before, so we're going to want to clean it off. So I'm just going to clean this real quick to get the green ink off. So we don't want to mix that ink. And now I'm going to stamp it in the pecan pie. And you can line the leaf up to make it match. It's not too hard if you just look at the edges. Then stamp it down. So that's pretty good. So we have the leaves. Now we're going to take a couple of our other leaves. Let's see, right here. I've already put them together with the glue dot. And so I'm just going to stick this leaf on top with a glue dot. Mini glue dot. Maybe 2 of those to hold it on. Right at the edge there. And then this can go on to the card, also with mini glue dots. One thing you want to make sure is you don't cover up a lot of the greeting. So you see these little edges right here. You can cover those up, but don't cover up a lot. So you just want to put your glue dots on the one side, and that gives this a place to put your leaves. Okay, so we're almost done with this one. In your kit, you have this long piece of linen thread. And if you see how this is put in, it's just kind of looped on each side. Let me show you how to do that. What I did was just take some Stampin' Dimensionals and put them in the center of the card base. I'm just going to put 3 in here. That should do it. And then when you take the backings off, you've got this sticky side. And I'm just going to lay this across. So I'm going to put it across there and loop it. And put it across and loop it again. Put it across and loop it. And then back. If I run out, I can go back and pull this one smaller. So you can just get it just the way you want. You want it to poke out, show around the circle that we're going to put in there. There, I think that will work. So then we just lay that down there. And then we can add a couple more dimensionals to hold this center on, like this. There we go. And, whoops, better take the backing off or it won't stick. There we go. And then this just goes on top. Like that. So you have these fun little loops. Oops, that one doesn't show very well. There we go. So you have the fun loops, the ends, they're just kind of going however, and then you've got your leaves. So that makes a pretty card there. And we'll take our embellishments, and we're going to add, these are actually they're not brown or red. I think they're kind of a deep purple, but they look really good with the cherry cobbler. So I'm just going to put these on here. You can put them wherever you want. Just going to put the 3 on, and then we have card number 3. Got to stamp the envelope with this one. I'm going to stamp the leaf. So we've already got it stamped here, so we just go ahead and stamp this leaf in a couple places. maybe twice, like that. And you have your pretty envelope. Then we have card number 3. We're almost done. Yay! All of those. Card number 3, I think is my favorite. I just like the colors. I just like the gold and the pink. So this is the Moody Mauve right here. And then I've used the Bubble Bath ink. And then the Early Espresso. I really like this one. It's my favorite. And it's very, very simple. So you get your kit. This is the piece you pre-cut from your pack of paper. And it's kind of a fun fold card because it's not the whole card. It's just going to be half. It's going to be very, very fun. First thing you want to do is crease that so that it will be good. There we go. And then we're going to stick this piece on. You want to make sure, again, that the words are right side up. Don't try to read them. Just look at the Y's and the T's, and you should have it. And then you'll put this on this little flap on the front of the card, and you're going to have about 1/8 of an inch or so around the edge of it. Put that on. And now we can stamp. And I've already stamped this Change Can Be Beautiful ahead of time. And this one we're going to use the other ink, which is the Bubble Bath. And I'm going to stamp that on the inside piece that's going to go in here. I'm going to stamp it before I glue it in because I want to make sure that it stamps good. Because if it doesn't, I can turn it over and use the other side. I'm going to stamp it over on the edge and kind of over on the bottom. There we go. So we have this wheat, pink wheat. I thought it was pretty. Anyway, over that, we grab this little greeting that says you got this. So this is for somebody who's going through a change, like a move or something, and you're telling them change can be beautiful. You've got this. So we're going to stamp that on top of the wheat, kind of near the bottom, across the stems in that Early Espresso ink. Let that dry a little bit, and we have some more of these leaves. And I've glued them together with mini glue dots. So I just need to add this one that I've cut out with the dies. And I'm going to put a mini glue dot on the bottom of this. Yep. There we go. And stick it on there. So we have 3 leaves on here too. Then I'm going to put some mini glue dots on the front side to stick it to the back of the tag. And that's going to go on the top of this tag right here. There we go. So we have that. Okay, now this is dried. So we're going to put it on the inside of our card now, side base, with our seal, stamp and seal. Then when the card closes and you put this flap down, you can still see this part. And then this piece is just going to go on like this on the top. Okay, so we're going to put some adhesive here. You can use dimensionals, mini glue dots, whatever you want, but you do not want to put any adhesive on this side of the tag. Only the side with the leaves on. Because you don't want to glue your card together. You don't want to glue it shut. We're just going to center that on here. Put it down. See, now your card can still open. It's kind of like a fun fold. Oh, I forgot to stamp my envelope. While I have the wheat out, I'm going to stamp it with the pink wheat. Bubble Bath. There we go. Now for the bow, you've got a piece of linen thread. You're just going to tie the bow like so. Get it the right size that you want it. I think it's 9 inches of linen thread. You have plenty of thread to work with. And you'll even be trimming some of it off when you get your bow all ready. And figure out where you're going to put it. And then you'll take one little mini glue dot, and I like to roll the glue dot in my fingers to get it smaller, and put it right on the knot of the bow. Whoops. And then you can stick it wherever you want on the card, and you don't have that adhesive hanging over the edge. There we have that, and we just need to add our embellishments, and we'll have this beautiful card done. Where's my take your pick? Oh, I'll use my scissors. Okay, and there's a pink ones in here. So I'm going to put one here, and just put one down in this corner, and then another one there. And these embellishments have little gold flecks in them, so it picks up the gold elements that are in all of these cards. The designer series paper and the foil that we used. So there we have card number 4. Change can be beautiful. You've got this. So let's take a look at all of these cards together. Very pretty. With their little envelopes. Here's the envelope to this one. And grateful for you. Here's the envelope to that one. What do you think? You have the 4 cards. Now, if you want to join my card club, all the information is in the description of this video. And it also has all the stuff I used, all the products that I used, the Stampin' Up products I used for these cards. And so you could purchase them and make these cards, go back and watch the video and make these cards yourself at home if you wanted. Or you can go ahead and join club. We make 4 card designs, but you make 2 of each design. So in your kits you have enough to make 8 cards. And we do this each month, and I will send it right to your door. And you can see all the information if you click on the link in the description. So anyway, thank you so much for joining today, and I hope you had a good time stamping.